Greetings and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be talking about the 1998 release by Gloria Estefan, Gloria. Now, Gloria Estefan, I think, is one of the best artists of all time. However, I feel like she doesn't get her due as a Latina artist. Because the thing about Latina artists is, like, famously right now we have like J-Lo and Rosalina and Becky G and blah, blah, blah. However, Gloria Estefan, I really feel, doesn't get the credibility for the crossing over of Latin music to like a pop audience that she really deserves. And there's probably a lot of reasons for this, but it's quite unfair considering how much she did. I'm not saying she's the first artist to really do that. However, she really is responsible for bringing that Latin sound into American mainstream on a consistent basis. I mean, her sound, there's a lot of really Latin sounding songs that she put out that were massive hits. And she continued this for over a decade. She's been in the business since the late 70s, but she first hit it big in 1985 with Conga in the US. But I'm just talking about like the overall impact she's had on the music industry and the fact that she really doesn't get her due. She does get mentioned. She's not completely forgotten. She's definitely still in the business. I'm sure she's doing fine. But I feel like she doesn't get that same respect, even that J-Lo gets. Like, J-Lo seems to get more respect than Gloria Estefan, which I love J-Lo, but I feel like Gloria Estefan really deserves more. So a little background on Gloria Estefan. She joined the Miami Sound Machine in the 1970s. They released some Spanish language albums. None really did that well. However, in 1984, they released their first English album, Eyes of Innocence, with the song Dr. Beat. Dr. Beat became a massive hit in Europe and the UK. And the next year, they followed it up with Primitive Love, their second English album. This had the massive single Conga, which crossed over to American charts. It also did well on the dance charts, and it really put them on the map. Primitive Love actually became one of their longest lasting hit albums. I could say on the charts a long time, and it was a pretty big seller. It got other singles such as Bad Boys and Words Get in the Way, which is a beautiful ballad written by Gloria Estefan. They followed up, and Gloria kind of went to the foreground and they became Gloria Estefan and the Miami Sound Machine in 1987 with the album Let It Loose, which had songs such as Rhythm Is Gonna Get Ya, and their first #1 single, not Here We Are. Oh my gosh, I can think of the song. Their first single that they ever had, the first #1 single, okay, I cannot think of it right now, but it will come to me in a minute because I definitely know it. They also had 1, 2, 3, which is an amazing song, and Can't Stay Away From You, which was a massive single. I cannot think of their first #1 single. It's like in my head, the video's in my head. It's like this big 80s ballad, and I cannot think of it, but I will think of it in a second. Again, I have no script, so I go by memory. So she's having #1 singles, top 10 albums. They're selling millions of copies worldwide. They're massively successful. They follow that up with Cuts Both Ways. They have very weird titles for their albums. Cuts Both Ways, Let It Loose. That was more ballad heavy, and again had some crossover appeal with Oyo Mi Canto, which was a Latin flavored pop song. And had some other big hits such as I Don't Want to Lose You Now and Here We Are. Both are really great songs, very 1989 pop ballads, but very beautifully written. Gloria Estefan is a vastly underrated songwriter. She has a very special gift to her, and I think she's extremely underrated. I still can't remember that song title, and I think they even, Anything For You. Anything For You was their first #1 single in the US. Okay. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Like, that's not a obscure song. Or like, I wonder what one of their biggest hits is. But yeah, so they pretty much went to ballad territory, and after Gloria Estefan had a bus accident in 1990 that basically did a lot of damage to her back, she had to we go to we call it rehab, to rebuild and get back on track. But she came back next year with the album Into the Light in 1991, which had another number one single, Coming at the Dark. I don't forget all number one singles, and definitely cemented her spot on the pop charts as a crossover artist. She continued success through the 90s. They had a greatest hits after that and a cover album called Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, which had a massively big single called Turn the Beat Around, which was a cover of a disco song from the 70s. And followed up with the massively successful Mi Tierra, which was her first Spanish language album in some time, and it was very based in the Cuban roots and the sound of her heritage, and did massively well worldwide. It was, I think in Spain, it was just everywhere you went, they gave you a copy, or you bought a copy. I mean, it was so successful in Spain and all the Spanish-speaking countries. In the US, it won her first Grammy for Best Latin Album, and she followed that up with another album, okay, I can't pronounce anything in Spanish either. But she did follow it up with Abriendo Puertas, which was a holiday-themed Spanish album. It's not as good as Mi Tierra, however, it also won a Grammy and did pretty well, not as well. Then she went back to the English market with her album Destiny, I want to say Higher, which included the singles Higher and Reach. However, that album did not do as well in the US charts. It was very ballad heavy with a little bit of experimentation of Cuban style percussion and such. It's a good album, and it's definitely a very rare one on vinyl. However, for me, I don't look back at that album like, oh wow, this is amazing. And definitely, like, you could tell, like, culturally, her impact was starting to kind of diminish a little bit. However, one of the singles from the album, called I'm Not Giving You Up, was remixed by Tony Moran and became a massive success on the dance charts. Well, what does that happen? They were going to do a remix album of all her hit songs, such as 1, 2, 3, The Rhythm Is Gonna Get Ya, probably Oyo Mi Canto. I'm guessing here, by the way. And they were going to have it remixed by contemporary DJs and remixers. Well, I guess what they did was they had a meeting with Tony Moran, and he ended up working on a great majority of this album, production-wise, along with Emilio, Estefan, and Gloria. And most of the album is done by them as a trio. However, there are other songwriters and such, Wyclef Jean and such. This album came out in 98 when dance music and disco was still kind of a bad word in the US market. There definitely were some hits in the 90s that were dance music, straight up dance music. However, the idea of making an album influenced by disco really wasn't a thing. People didn't have Confessions of a dance floor on a dance floor like they did with Madonna, or they didn't have at the time Believe by Cher, which came out the same year. However, it wasn't like an established hit album. Fever by Kylie still had years to go. People weren't making full-on dance albums, especially major label top artists. And for Gloria to do that was an amazing risk, and she loved the project. She loved doing it. I imagine her just telling her husband, you know what? I'm not giving you up. I like that sound of the Latin dance club music. Let's do that as a full album. And this is another one of my cohesive albums where a lot of the songs sound very similar, but really have their own flavor and still stick out and still make it a great album. Because it's hard. If you do make a very cohesive album, it's very likely you're going to have a lot of filler, because you can only do so much with one sound. It's true. Especially if you're 2 producers, like, it's hard to do this. However, with Gloria, I think it's one of the best albums of all time. And for me, my favorite album by Gloria Estefan. I'm a big fan of her first albums, like with Miami Sound Machine, Primitive Love, and Let's Get Loose. I love Cuts Both Ways. But my favorite album is this. She would follow up this album with a string of albums of varying success. She never had that global impact again the way she did in the 80s and early 90s, However, she's still around today and she still makes music. She still releases albums. She just did a re-release of Into the Light on special vinyl. And then she's made some masterpieces such as the album Unwrapped, which I love. That was actually one of the first reviews I did as a college student for my college paper, was Unwrapped. That was a pretty good article. I'll have to find it. I don't know what those articles are. I think I've moved a lot. Not a lot, but I mean, I'm in Paris, so these were like a long time ago. Yeah, so Gloria did not do amazingly well on the charts. It debuted and peaked at number 23 on the US Billboard 200. It did a little bit better worldwide in some countries. However, it wasn't a massive success. It did go gold, which is good. And it did get a good push from Sony, although they could have done better. I always felt as a kid when I was like, how come I'm not seeing Gloria Estefan videos on the MTV or the MTV? And I really wanted more Gloria promo. She did do her best. And yeah, like it's kind of like a cult album at this point. Her fans love it. A lot of people have talked about how much they appreciate it and how it was kind of ahead of its time to make a dance album as a major artist. Influenced by disco music. It wasn't popular back then, but now it's like you could do that and have a successful chart run. However, at the time it was a different story. None of the singles went top 10, although she did have some success around the world, varying, but nothing was a massive hit. I do remember when it came out, I had the CD and I loved it, but it definitely wasn't like, it wasn't like before, and that's a shame. Honestly, I think it was just because it was ahead of its time. I don't think that it was necessarily Sony's fault or anything like that. Like, they did a decent enough job, and she's definitely shown that she deserves her legendary status since then and such. And it wasn't a flop album by any means. I would just say it was a cult hit because people do like it. It does have its audience. It just necessarily didn't sell a lot of copies or have any major hits. Like, although if you were to make a greatest hits by Gloria Estefan, you probably would include some of the songs just because they weren't non-hits. They just weren't massive hits. So anyways, like I said, she worked with Tony Moran on this album and her husband, Emilio Estefan. And she's been working with Emilio, and they've been married since, I mean, they joined the group together. So I think since like the late 70s, they've been working together. And, Gloria writes a lot of songs by herself, but then usually Emilio would produce it along with the band members of Miami Sound Machine. But Tony Moran was a well-known remixer, very Miami-based. I could be wrong about that. I'm pretty sure it's Miami-based. Just everything in my head says Miami-based. Who he would go on to remix a lot of great dance songs for the clubs. I know he's worked with everyone from like J-Lo to Christine W. I believe he's done remixes for like Celine Dion and I want to say Whitney Houston, but I don't believe he has. But yeah, so in terms of unreleased material, there's some demos done for songs that were on the album, but there's not much on the cutting room floor with this album. There is a rumor that the song Let's Get Loud by J-Lo, which was written by Gloria Estefan, was originally produced by Tony Moran and going to be included on this album. However, for whatever reason, they didn't use it, and then it was reproduced by Pablo Flores and given to J-Lo for her album, and she re-recorded the vocals. It makes sense because they're both on Sony Records or Epic Records, and it would be like Gloria did write for Shakira as well. I don't know. Like, I don't know if Gloria really intended Let's Get Loud to be on this album. I can't see her giving that song up. So I think maybe she wrote it for J-Lo as a way to like, okay, if my albums aren't, if no one, how do I say this? I want to be a part of the music industry and the future of it. So I'm going to evolve my position and be a songwriter. instead of always being a performer of these songs. Maybe, maybe you'll find success with somebody else, like with Shakira or J-Lo. So it makes a lot of sense on a business perspective. Either way, like I said, the album is a fan favorite, and I want to dive into it. I'm excited about diving deep into it. So let's get started. This is the rare vinyl. It's pretty rare. You can see that. We'll start with that. I know I usually wait to the end. And then we have the paper. It's a little damaged. And oh, I love this. Oh yes, the vinyl. So you go like, because she's doing that too on the cover. So you go like that, and then hold on. Can we get a good shot of that? No? Okay. All right, that's enough of that. Okay, so the album's first single was Heaven's What I Feel, which was a top 30 single in the US and did pretty well in the dance charts, although it was not number one. I believe it was number two. Heaven's What I Feel was originally written for Celine Dion, which I'm sure a lot of people know, for her Let's Talk About Love album with My Heart Will Go On, although it did not fit it, and that makes a lot of sense. I can't imagine Celine singing it, and it wouldn't sound great. I think Gloria's voice matches the song better, and I think she did a really good job with it. It's just a fun love song, Heaven's What I Feel. The Spanish version, Corazón Prohibido, like Forbidden Heart. It's just basically saying, I'm not supposed to fall in love with you. I am someone else is loving you. Basically, you're with a person you never thought you'd end up with. So, Forbidden Heart, Heaven's What I Feel. The video has her like floating around, and she has like long highlighted hair. Really cool, little cheap. I do remember the video not being the best, but the song is amazing. Very explosive, very fun, very dancey. It's a little Europop. I mean, it's not like house music. It's definitely not house music, but it's very disco influenced. Like a new disco of the late 90s, which didn't really exist too much back then. So definitely more on the electronica side than like organic house drums and saxophones and stuff like that. Very fun, very explosive, like I said, and just has this like transition from the bridge to the chorus. It's like, it sounds like lasers going like a million miles a mile at you. It's great transition. Yeah, it's a great transition. Great song. Not my favorite on the album, and definitely, but I do think it sounds like a first single. But I do think I can see why it wasn't a massive hit, although I think it deserved at least top 10. It's just a lot of fun, and definitely a great song for the clubs. Although I've never heard it in the clubs. I'm very disappointed. And I've been to Miami. Like, no Gloria. I don't think I've ever really heard Gloria, like, at a club. I mean, like, here and there, but it's not like a major thing. Like I said, her legacy. My God, where is her legacy? And that song, like I said, was written for Celine by, it was Geek Sandia? I mispronounce everything. If you're the songwriter of this song, please forgive me. But it was not written by Gloria, but it was produced by Emilio and Tony Moran. Great job. Great job, guys. The next song is Don't Stop. This one starts off kind of like a Donna Summer song, like Last Dance, where it's like very soft and beautiful and dreamlike, and then it just explodes and then becomes like this massive dance song, and it's very Tony Moran. You have like Latin rhythms and hard beats, and just fun, vibrant vocals, and it's just a lot of fun of a song. Has a very beautiful midway through where it has the Spanish guitar. It just has a lot of layers to it, a lot of surprises. It's a great song, and just you can tell they put a lot of work and effort and devotion into it. It wasn't just a filler track, you know. And I do remember, like, at the time, a lot of the promotion, they had like Don't Stop was like the video collection, I think. Yeah, but I never like saw the video I don't think Don't Stop has a video, so it was just called the video collection. Like, it was like a promotional thing from Sony that you could buy. It was called Don't Stop. But It had like the videos from the album and such. Like, yeah. Anyways, amazing song. Very new disco of the late 90s. Very Europop, but still Latin and Miami, but very dancey, very club music. And it's just super strong chorus. Very like, amazing. The next song is Oye, which means listen. And this is the first like real Latin song. Again, it's produced by Tony Moran and Emilio Estefan. It was released as a single, although not a physical single, so it didn't chart on the Billboard 100. However, it did reach number 2 on the Billboard dance charts, which is amazing. Again, I never heard in the club. It's very Latin based. It sounds something like Ricky Martin and Ricky Iglesias. It sounds like Let's Get Loud, basically. Very alive and spicy and fun and just free. It's a great song, great to dance to. It was later remixed by Pablo Flores as a Spanish song, and that was included on the CD as a bonus track. However, there's no space on a vinyl for these bonus tracks, so they're not on these. But the original production done by Tony Moran is great. I think I do prefer the Spanish version and the Pablo Flores. Pablo Flores, by the way, amazing producer. I love him. Really great, really. By the way, Pablo Flores, if you're listening, I love you. I do. Tony Moran, I love you too. Did I meet Tony Moran? No, I didn't. I met someone who, I did meet a remixer, but it wasn't Tony Moran. And I also don't know how I met this, or who this person is. Oh man, I can't remember anything right now. All right. So yeah, Oye was one of my favorite songs. It still is. It's still one of my favorite songs on the record. It's just so much fun. So explosive. It's so explosive. And like, I'm sorry, but you would think there'd be like 7 songwriters and there's like 2 or 3. Like, it's not that. Like, they really juiced it. It's great. I mean, it's a shame it wasn't given a physical release. It could have been, I think it could have been like a top 10 single. I really do, especially with the whole Latin explosion in '99. Yeah, the video's cool. She's like in a club. She has a big, like, wavy hair. Not wavy, but like poofy, like Shaka Khan hair. And just looks amazing. Really great. Awesome video. Real Woman. A Real Woman. It's a love song, basically. Or not a love song. I think it's just like a, what do you call it? Like a like song? Like she's talking to someone who makes her feel like a real woman. Oh, and I'm sorry, she doesn't feel like when she's a real woman and she can take care of them as a real woman would. Yeah. Someone who loves you right, day and night. What else rhymes with that? I don't know. It has a great influence of Donna Summer's I Feel Love. Again, more disco. It has a chicka 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 chicka. And the Latin beats and trumpets and rhythms. It's just a full-on orgasmic song. It's really great. Has like high peaks and then it kind of really well done. So we're not really into filler material here at all yet, and we're already at track 4. And as people have noticed with my reviews, it's usually by track 3 there's a filler song, or track 4. So good job, Gloria. By the way, all these songs transition towards each other. Like, they blend together. And by the way, Lady Gaga fans who think that the transition for 911 and Chromatica 2 is impressive, please go out and listen to some other transitions, because it's not. It's really not. It is, I guess, if you've never heard a transition before, but it's not. Yeah. I mean, have you never heard of Donna Summer's transitions either? My God. Again, I'm not trying to insult my Lady Gaga fans. I have like 3 fans, by the way. I'm not trying to insult Lady Gaga fans. It's just... The next song is Feelin'. This has a different beat. It's more mid-90s R&B, kind of like that song, At Night I Think of You, I Want to Hear You, to Feel Your Lady Baby. It has that drum beat, kind of like the syncopated beat of the, I think Jermaine Dupri did that song. Basically, like, it's hip-hoppity, but very light and skippy. It's really fun. It's a great song. And then this one is Feelin'. So it's just about an endless love, like never gonna stop the feeling. It's just a fun song. It was later remixed by Love to Infinity for the bonus tracks. That one is slightly better. I do like the original, however, the remix it fits the album more. However, you can tell they didn't want to make every single song a Europop Latin dance song. So there is some diversity in terms of the beats and the rhythms and the stuff like that. The next song is Don't Release Me. This was done with Wyclef Jean. He raps on it, and it's definitely a different beat. It's a little reggae, tropical, R&B, has like some smooth grooves on it, and it's just like, again, about endless love, like don't release me, about the spell you got me under. Or maybe not endless love, but definitely like a love that is going on now. Definitely a good song. Not quite filler, but not quite the strongest on the album. Yeah, definitely like if it's sandwiched between Feelin' and the next song, it kind of loses a little bit of its magic, but it's not a bad song in any means. It's good. It's just not the strongest that she's had. By the way, I'm very sorry for this. It's hard to like. There you go. But I want to have it like this so you can see it. Yeah, there's no way. I want you to see the album cover because it's so beautiful and it's so big. Hello. Alright, so the next song is Don't Let This Moment End, which was also a single and reached number 76 in the US charts and did pretty well in the dance charts as well. It was originally a ballad, although they remixed it and released it on the album with Tony Moran. It's a pretty good song. I love it. I love the breakdown in the middle. It's legendary, and I think they cut it short in the video. And the video is not great, by the way. The video is very slow paced, and it's a very in-your-face dance song. It's so beautiful. It's very disco influenced. Like, it's perfection. It's so good. It's one of her best songs ever. And I started this review saying, "Oh, I like the song." No, I love the song. It was released with a disco medley of songs such as I Thought It Took a Little Time and other songs. I can't think of them right now. I just saw the list a little bit ago, but I forgot. But it was released as like a B-side of like Gloria singing disco melodies, a medley of disco songs. And that one's good too. However, this is the Don't Let This Moment End is really the cream of the crop for the album, I think, and for the single. So good. And it's like kiss me, hold me, touch me, don't let this moment end. It's so good. I need more words than good. It's good. The song is good. The album is good. It's good. That's it. That's the review. Yeah, so it's just a great song, and very euphoric, very lively, full of spice, and not very Latin-y, but definitely has that same Miami Sound Machine kind of. By the way, if you love this album, definitely check out her 80s stuff, because that stuff is great too. She has some amazing albums from the 80s. I definitely want to review those too. By the way, so next song is Touched by an Angel. This one, okay, so as good as Don't Let This Moment End is, Touched by an Angel kind of becomes a little filler. It's good. It's a good song. It's just not as strong as Don't Let This Moment End. It's just a fun song about love. Again, there's a lot of love and happiness in this album. It's a very happy album. And it's just about being in love with someone. It's a little more subdued as a dance song. It's kind of a little more laid back. Maybe take a little break after going so hard on Don't Let This Moment End and just enjoy the groove. But still very disco influenced and Europop and stuff like that. And but yeah, this one's a little more, it gives you room to breathe for the rest of the album, I suppose, because yeah, it's definitely not, it's not a bad song. I like it. It's just not as strong as the rest of the more dancier songs. But it's good. I definitely wouldn't have cut it. Lucky Girl. That's also a good song. This one, I think, was done with Soul Solution and then remixed by Tony Moran. This one's good. It's a little bit more lively than Touched by an Angel. And I'm just a lucky girl. I'm total off key with that. And again, it's a little like, okay, this album is coming to a close soon. Let's, it's good. It's just not wow. It's again, it's about being with someone and you just feel lucky. Like I feel like a lucky girl because I'm with you. And yeah, it's good, but you can kind of tell like the tricks of the trade have kind of been used up at this point. But it's still a great song on its own and on the album. It fits the album and it doesn't bring it down, but it just doesn't add anything new, if that makes sense. I Just Want to Be Happy. This one is the like Oye Part 2, where it's very lively and Latin bass as da 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 da. It's again just I Want to Be Happy. It's a free love. It's a free song about just enjoying your life and enjoying the love that you have, and yeah, like it's just like a song to play like on the beach and enjoy. It's just full of life and joy. Again, it doesn't add anything new, but it really doesn't take anything away. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a good fun time. Definitely worthy of being on the album. I wouldn't cut any of the songs on the album, by the way, which I probably strongly implied. However, I do think that's a good song. It's just a little weaker than Oye, and it sounds like it could be right after Oye. But they probably wanted to diverse it and not have too much Latin rhythms. The last song is Cuba Libre. I cannot pronounce anything in case anybody knows. I love this song. This song is it's a political song it's a subtle political song about how she wants to go back to her homeland of Cuba. But, and she can't wait for the day until she can see them again because of, certain reasons. But, it's a great song. The video is not super great. It's kind of just her on a beach, it's a really dancey song, and she's just kind of like, I want to go back to Cuba. Yeah, it's not a great video, but it's a great song, and it was #2 in Spain. It was not released in the US as a single, although I think I saw the video once. Obviously, I saw the video once if I knew what happened. Yeah, but it's a great song. It's one of the best songs. It was there's a Spanish version, and I think the Spanish version is better. I think Gloria Estefan sings better in Spanish, just because I think Spanish is a better language overall than English in terms of lyrical composition. It's more flowy, for the most part. And even like J-Lo, I think, sings better in Spanish as well. Most artists, I think, sing better. If they sing in English and Spanish, most likely they sing better in Spanish. It's just a better language. But yeah, it's a great song. Whatever you think about whatever is going on in the song, you can forget it because it's pretty subtle. She's just talking about wanting to be back with her people. Yeah, but it's a great song. It's a great companion piece to Oye, only it's a little bit more subtle, but just as good. I love it. Great horns, great trumpets, and I believe she uses trombones. Amazing. It's just a great composition of a song. It's a great ending, by the way. That's the end of the album. It's so sad. It's such a great album. I mean, there's a little bit of not filler, but maybe quasi filler, like high quality filler. And if that's an oxymoron, I think high quality filler. It's a filler, but it's high quality filler. You definitely want to fill out the album, and there's only so many times you can reinvent the wheel. But Gloria did an amazing job with this record, and I think there's a freshness to it to this day. It doesn't sound dated at all. I suppose if you really don't like late 90s dance music, you wouldn't like this record. And there are people like that who just don't care for it. My husband's one of them. Which makes me wonder, did I pick the right? I'm just kidding. No, but no, but it's a great album. Definitely want to check out. I know this is probably a less popular record that I've done on the album that I've done on the channel. Maybe one of them. So definitely check this out if you haven't, and I want you, the viewer, to please listen to this record. Stream it now. The vinyl is available on online, although it is nowhere to be found in stores. Hopefully her team gets it together and releases. She has a recent album called, I think it's Brazil 305, where she redoes a lot of her older songs in a Brazilian style. It's gorgeous. Oh my God, I love it. It came out, I believe, 2 years ago, and was released on vinyl in the middle of last year. And then it does have new songs too. It does have new songs. She's still making music, and hopefully she'll tour again. Maybe you know what? It would be great if she could do a Gloria 25, where next year she tours and all she does is perform this song and similar sounding songs from her discography. I love when artists do that. Although I've only been to one, but I've never seen Gloria live. I would like to see Gloria live. But yeah, there's not much more to say about this record. It's just a great dance record from the late 90s. 1988 was a great time. She did Divas Live on VH1, and they really didn't focus too much on her, unfortunately. She did get nominated for some Grammys, especially dance recording, but not much in terms of awards for this album, unfortunately. But it's a great record and needs to be rediscovered by everybody, including you. I'm kidding. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the review, your favorite album, if you know the album. Any other Gloria stuff on albums that you'd want to be reviewed on the channel, please let me know. I'll be happy to review them. I have a good collection of Gloria here in the house. I have her Primitive Love. I have Eyes of Innocence, which is not great. I have Let's Get Loose, Cuts Both Ways, Into the Light, Mi Tierra. I have Brazil 305. But she doesn't have a lot of her later albums on vinyl. Like, you can't find Unwrapped, for example, is not on vinyl, which is a shame, because that album needs to be on vinyl. Gloria, if you're watching, please release Unwrapped on vinyl today, or at least announce it. It needs to be on vinyl. Like, I know that there's not like tons of people begging for it, but I think me asking for it should be enough. All right, thanks so much for watching, and Gloria, if you're watching, thank you so much. Great album. Have a great day. There you go.